Welcome to this edition of Draft Utopia, our first episode on Spreaker, and this is the 2014 NFL Conference Championship Predictions Special. There are two games to watch next week. The New England Patriots will travel Denver to face the Broncos in Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning NFL Playoff Matchup Part 4. Brady won the first two matchups in 2003 and 2004 before the 2000s. Weapons on the offensive side of the ball. But that's not the point. The point is Manning finally won the big game. And now he's got a chance to win the big game again. Eli Manning, his little brother, has 2 Super Bowls. And now Manning's got the chance to add a second to his repertoire. The NFC features the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks in Quest Field. Sports Authority at Invesco, I believe, is where the Denver Broncos will host the New England Patriots, but Kaepernick versus Russell Wilson, that game in Seattle. We'll get to that, but let's break down this New England versus Denver game, because I think both these defenses are going to have trouble stopping the opposing quarterback. And let's start with the New England Patriots defense versus Peyton Manning. Guys like Chandler Jones and Rob Ninkovich are going to have to get to Peyton Manning if the Patriots have a chance of winning this game, because the Patriots, they don't have Brandon Spikes. They don't have Gerard Mayo. And Donta Hightower can stop runs to the outside. He can stop some counter runs. But Orlando Franklin, he's going to be able to get by Ninkovich. You're going to have blockers. Luis Vazquez, he can get by New England's defensive tackle. He can get to Donta Hightower. You can open up the running lanes. And I just think with no Sean Moreno, he's capable of rushing for 100 yards against the Patriots without Mayo and Spikes. And the Colts didn't have a running game. I think that really worked in New England's favor. And they took away T.Y. Hilton at the beginning of the game. And luck, he had turnovers. Peyton Manning's not going to go throwing 3 or 4 interceptions against the New England Patriots. So that's probably going to work in his favor as well. And Manning has targets. Wes Welker, he wants to be a Karma-like receiver. You've got Demaryius Thomas. You've got Eric Decker. You've got Julius Thomas. The Denver Broncos have too many weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Even without left tackle Ryan Clady. And even if Chandler Jones gets multiple sacks, he's not going to get 3 sacks. He's not going to get 4 sacks. The New England Patriots, my favorite NFL team, are probably going to lose next Sunday. And it's just, that's how it is. Because they got to get pressure on Peyton Manning if the Patriots want to win. You look at the New England Patriots against the Denver Broncos defense, and they got to run the ball. Brady has to throw passing touchdowns, and we got to see at least 2 rushing touchdowns or even more by LeGarrette Blount in this running game. Because if you can get that kind of balance on the offensive side of the ball, you get LeGarrette Blount involved, Tom Brady throws his passing touchdowns and does his routine as usual, then the New England Patriots will win this contest. You've got Logan Mankins and Nate Soldier. They can pave running lanes. Blount can run to the outside. Like Denver, this team's going to struggle on the defensive side of the ball. And I think this game's going to go to overtime, and I'm going to take the Broncos 41-35. Offensive contest, high-scoring affair, and we're going to see a lot of scoring. But if Denver plays like they did against the Patriots with their defense holding San Diego scoreless for 3 quarters, if they can keep Brady scoreless for an entire half, the Denver Broncos will go to the Super Bowl. But it's going to be one of those games where you don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be really fun regardless of what happens. So let's examine the 49ers defense against the Seahawks offense, because the Seahawks are going to have to rely on Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch, and the 49ers have the linebackers to stop Marshawn Lynch. They also have Ray McDonald and Justin Smith along with Glenn Dorsey, so they have that front seven to take Marshawn Lynch out of the game and disable him from getting 100 rushing yards. So what do you do here if you're Russell Wilson? You've got to throw the ball. You've got to be a pocket quarterback. You've got to make sure your offensive tackles, Russell Okung and Brent Giacomi, give you enough protection in the pocket to find your playmakers so you can make those throws, you can make those progressions, because you can't have another game like the one you had against the New Orleans Saints in the divisional round. You have to play better. You have to step up, and it's going to be on Russell Wilson to make the right throws and to make things happen, because if Russell Wilson can't do that, the Seahawks don't deserve to be in the Super Bowl. And I just think that the Seahawks, their defense is suspect, and the 49ers, you know what you're getting from this defense. You know you're getting a front seven that can stop the run. You're getting consistency. And with the 49ers offense, you've got Jonathan Goodwin, Alex Boone, Anthony Davis, Mike Iupati, and Joe Staley. Those are your offensive linemen. You've got Anquan Bolden and Michael Crabtree. You've got Vernon Davis and Vance McDonald, a third-round pick that was supposed to be a second-round pick. But you lose Delaney Walker. Vance McDonald's beginning to emerge and come into his own. Quentin Patton is also emerging. Mario Manningham's been injured most of the season. But you've got other guys like, trying to think of the other Oklahoma State back. It's not Kendall Hunter. You've got Kendall Hunter. You've got LaMichael James. Anthony Dixon's put on so much weight that he's adapted to a fullback role. And there are options. You have options. Seattle's not going to be able to stop the run. Chris Clemens only has 4.5 sacks in the regular season. Bruce Irvin's had so little success, he's had to switch to the strong side at linebacker. So the only player you know you can rely on at this point has to be Bobby Wagner, your middle linebacker. And it's all up to Wagner to recognize whether Kaepernick's going to throw or run. And I just don't trust him against Kaepernick in a one-on-one matchup if the rest of the front seven is not going to display that kind of consistency. And I think Frank Gore is going to have another big game, and he's going to show the 49ers why they're capable of being champions, why they're capable of having a big game. And he's going to be the guy that I think ends up getting the Super Bowl MVP honors. If the 49ers play the Broncos in the Super Bowl, I think Frank Gore will be the guy that gets the MVP. I know people are saying, oh, no, Kaepernick. These offensive linemen, Kaepernick, they all say Frank Gore is the heart and soul of the team, and Denver's run defense is even more suspect than Seattle's. And I know we saw the Chargers fail to run the ball on Denver, but the Chargers, Phillip Rivers is not the quarterback Colin Kaepernick is. And 49ers are going to find a game plan around this. Your safeties, Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas, they can take out San Francisco's tight ends. And Richard Sherman's going to disable Michael Crabtree in coverage. That's a fact. And if you want to disable Anquan Bolden, you have to use double coverage. You have to bring in Earl Thomas and your boundary corner because Bryce Brown is out, Walter Thurmond is out, Browner's going to be out, Brandon Browner, Walter Thurmond. You don't have those corners for luxury. And if you did, I think Seattle would probably win. But because you don't have those cornerbacks, you can make something happen. You can try to pick apart this defense. And if you use Cam Chancellor as a blitzer or a run stuffer, you could stack 8 in the box. You could stop Frank Gore. If your front seven is thinking run, everybody on the front seven. But I like the San Francisco 49ers. I will go 24-17 49ers in addition to 41-35 Denver in overtime over the New England Patriots. Those are my scores. I'll have the Niners beating the Broncos in the Super Bowl. And that'll do it for this edition of Draft Utopia's 2014 NFL Conference Championship predictions. For myself, this is Chris Ransom of Draft Utopia. Good night.